Teaching National gives each of us our own bases loaded in a baseball analogy, and we can hit our own home runs our own way. So Macomb's Talk is Teaching community campaign will look different than Wayne County's. There'll be a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences, just because our communities are different. Yeah, and Livingston County is a year behind us, and I'll tell you a little bit more about their work. That's all I think of the background. But let me tell you, on your Tweety Bird sheet, on the back there's an orange box, and it tells you the 3 tenets that comprise the Talking is Teaching campaign. We work through trusted messengers.
It's the one with the little bird, right?
Tweety Bird.
Right on the, yep, that one, Kelly. Yep.
Oh.
What?
Oh, this is the new one. Sorry, it's on the front. What elements?
Yeah.
We've already, I can't keep up
That
with
was the
this.
updated,
Yeah.
updated one.
Updated one. What elements? So we work through trusted messengers. So you can be content area experts. But for example, when I go to the Black Baptist churches in Detroit and I walk in and give my spiel and walk out, they don't listen to it as much as if I work with a pastor. And I'm his content area expert, and he's the trusted messenger for those people. Same with the people at the WIC office. I fly in and fly out. They don't listen to me. I mean, they nod their head and they think it's good stuff, but they don't remember. But that WIC person that they see every month is their trusted messenger. Early on is the trusted messenger. Home visitors, Head Start.
Doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nutritions, laundrettes.
We're with laundromats. We're actually just started with the Detroit Diaper Bank as well, which she has a pretty good relationship with quite a bit of regulars. I'm trying to think of most. Librarians, preschool teachers, home visitors.
Child care center owners, yeah. So trusted messengers. That's how this works, and I'm going to tell you, trusted messengers is powerful in our whole life. If I read a movie review and it looks good, I think, I might see that movie. But if someone who knows me says, Elaine, you got to see that movie, I'm going. We rely on trusted messengers all the time. Restaurants, books, places to work out, places to shop. So the trusted messenger piece is huge in Talking is Teaching. The second one is that well-researched, high-quality materials, and they are. If you go on the website, there's all kinds of lists of the research. And the third is messages in community places and spaces. Molly just told you some of them: laundromats, libraries, physicians' offices, early on offices, Head Start. We've tried some billboards in Detroit with some specific funding. We're looking for more funding for buses. The sky's the limit, right? I've done some things with the Detroit Zoo that we're working on getting in place, and we're working on some things for Belle Isle. You know, why is this plant called a lamb's? What's it called? Lamb's ear? Yeah, feel it. Why do you think? I know Denise and I are gardeners, so I know. So those kinds of things. And again, your county's going to be whatever you make of it. So let's look a little bit more at the Tweety Bird sheet. Hand me one, Molly. I don't have a new one. And I just want to give you a little bit of background of how we train our trusted messengers. It'll be fast, and Kelly and I are meeting afterwards, and we can do more together to see how that works. But the most important thing trusted messengers need to know is about early language and brain development. So our babies are born with these perfectly formed little fingers and toes and noses, and a brain that's ready to be built. The brain comes unfinished. How is it built? Through loving relationships and words. So the first connection a baby has is to mom, because the baby's been living here a while, right? So mom, I know how mom, and the connections, the neural connections are not linear. They're explosive to all parts of the brain. How mom sounds, how mom feels, how mom looks, how mom smells, how mom makes me feel. Mom. Everyone else, for that baby's first few moments or hours or whatever, all they are is not mom. Right? This is mom, and all of you are not mom. Until I build more connections. And who do you think some of the next connections are? Dad,
brothers,
siblings, grandmas. So, okay, everything we learn through our whole life happens like that. We bounce it up to what we already know. All right? I know mom, and this is not mom. So how is this not mom? So all the learning we do for our whole life is by comparing it to what's already in my brain. So if a 2-year-old sees a goat and says goggy, why? That's what they know, right? And mom or dad can say, it looks like a dog, but it's a goat. Boom! Explosion. Because now we got the goat out in the field, but the dog's in the house. The connections are huge. There are billions of neurons in the brain waiting to be connected. And we do that all through our life. If I say to you, I bought my grandson a ukulele, and you say, what's a ukulele? I say, it's like a right. If I tell you, we already know I'm Italian, right? I made mastacholi, and you don't know what that is, I say it's like, right? And honest to God, when I said to these younger groups, what is a podcast? And they said it's like a radio show. That's how we always learn new things. That's why kids need words in their head. Babies need words. The more words they have, the more connections they can make. Making sense? Mm-hmm. And it's about conversation. It's not about word lists. It's not about word walls. It's not about word of the day. Loving conversations. Relationships matter. Who are some of your favorite teachers, or one of your favorite teachers? Just think about them in your head. Why was that teacher your favorite? Funny?
Made a connection.
Made a connection? No one ever tells me they knew math facts the best. Right? It's about relationships. Now, you know, when we have kids come into school, they can hug the teacher or high five the teacher or whatever. We all know learning happens best through relationships. The other thing about having all these words in your head is the more words you have in your head, the faster your processing time is. Okay? So if I say to some children in a group, marshes, bogs, lakes, streams, and rivers are all bodies of water, and they don't know what marshes mean, they lose the rest. Okay? It's as if you took 4 years of French and think you're all that in a bag of chips, and then I send you to Paris, right? And then you're trying to catch up, missing things. When children have fewer words in their head, their processing speed is impacted and their learning is impacted.
Give me 1 second.
The 30 million word gap work has its roots in the war on poverty. 1965, President Johnson initiated the war on poverty. And one of the cornerstones of the war on poverty was a 4 half-day-a-week preschool for 4-year-olds called Head Start, the beginning of Head Start. Because what we realized, thank God, what the wisdom of the time realized, is that children don't have a difference in ability to learn or desire to learn. The difference is in opportunity to learn. So let's give more children more opportunities. Head Start. At that time, Head Start in some place called the Turner House next to University of Kansas, Betty Hart and Todd Risley started their research and thought, if we can give these kids more words, more language, we can change their learning trajectory for their learning years. And they did. They sent staff into this preschool every day, every half day it met. At the end of the school year, the children's language improved dramatically. But when they entered kindergarten, the trajectory of them learning new words was not different than children that hadn't had this experience. And this bore out. These children were studied as 3rd graders, and the gap was the same. The word gap becomes the achievement gap. We need words in our head. So Todd Hart and Betty Risley, weren't daunted. And it took them years and years to come to the next study, because they thought, if we can't make a difference with 4-year-olds in a half-day program, 4 days a week, where can we make a difference? What do you think? In the home? With babies. So 1985, the real work that became the 30 million word gap began. I need this. And the study is about socioeconomics, and I'm going to talk to you about socioeconomics because that's what the study is, and then we're not talking about that anymore. We're going to say some families, because I will not have a mom, dad, grandma, grandpa who at the moment are living in poverty feel like they are less than, because they are not. Okay, but the study is about poverty. So they hired researchers, and they had socioeconomic. I'm just going to called high income, middle income, low income. To be in the study, your child started when they were 7 and 9 months old. This was 1985. You had to guarantee that you would be in the same home for 3 years and that you would have a phone, a landline. We didn't have cell phones unless you were a doctor in 1985. So I'm telling you, we missed the lowest of the low, right? Because I don't think a family probably could guarantee that. Nonetheless, 50 families started and 42 families completed, which is huge for that long. So for the 7 months to 3 year period, researchers went into every home for 1 hour a month and recorded everything said around, to, and by these children. The good part of the research is it found that every parent, every family was innately engaging their child. All the children talked, all the children walked, all the children were potty trained, all of the children developed well. That was the end of the good news. And the report was called the early catastrophe. The bad news is if children in high-income homes heard 2,000 words an hour. Let's just skip down to low-income homes, 600 words an hour. Children in high-income homes had the turn taking that's so important, serve and return, so important, it's conversational. 250 turns an hour with the baby. Low-income homes, 50. And the most heartbreaking statistic, in the high-income homes, children heard affirming things 40 times an hour. You're cute, you did it, you tried, I love you, nice belly button, cute toes, whatever. 40 times an hour, low income, 4. So multiply that hour by a day, by a week, by a month, by years. 30 million word gap. There have been challenges to this study about the methodology, about the small size, about lots of things, but I've read every challenge I can find, and at the end of every challenge it says this: nevertheless, there is a word gap, and the word gap becomes the achievement gap. Babies need words. So let's erase the poverty thing right now. I'm going to tell you how we do that. There's a thing, and there's a conversational term that we have: the business talk of life and the chit-chat talk of life. Business talk gets the work of your family done. Go to bed, put your shoes on, don't bug the cat, leave your sister alone, brush your teeth. Business, business, business. When you're under stress, that's all you have available to you. Business. And it happens, we all have stress. We have big stresses, we got in a car accident. We have small stresses. A gallon of milk poured off the table to the chair to the floor, right? Families in poverty live in stress. It's the overarching umbrella of their life, stress. How am I gonna feed my kids? Where are they gonna sleep tonight? How can I work and afford childcare? What? Stress, right? When you're stressed, you do not have chit-chat available to you. And chit-chat is the richness of life. So if I lose my car keys and I'm trying to get my children to daycare so I can go to work and we're late, it's like, where's my car keys? I don't say, hey kids, do you think my car keys are on the blue couch or on top of the Formica counter? No, stress, no, right? We don't. And if when that gallon of milk spills, I don't say, children, look at all the shapes the milk is made. I'm like, get a towel, right? Business, chit-chat. And with business and chit-chat, small moments are big. So I'm in a chit-chat mood, I'm not under a lot of stress, and I'm available to say, hey, let's go get your shoes. Why don't you wear your red shoes today? They look cute with your blue socks. 10 seconds. Driving. Hey, there's a bluebird in the tree. Yesterday we saw a brownbird. 2 seconds. We need to make parents realize all the great things they're doing. This is a very affirming approach, and that small moments are big. The other thing, all right, stress. The other thing is distraction. There are 3 things that take away from this nice conversation. Distraction. And I'm going to tell you, I think the numbers would be different if we did it today because we are all distracted. I don't care what socioeconomic lane you live in. We are all socially addicted to media, including me. We are, let's just admit it. But it's part of our world and we have to figure out how to make it work. So people always say to me, how much time should a 2-year-old spend on a screen? And even the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Fred Rogers Institute, everyone keeps changing because screens have become relational. It's not just, it's relational. You can talk to grandma, you can whatever. So the rules are, Make sure it's balanced, be a good role model, and make sure the screen time for little ones is relationship-based. Watch it with them, talk about it. But the question we don't get asked enough is how much time should adults around children be on their screens? We're on too much. This screen thing is called technoference when you talk about parents and children. And one report I read say that children feel personally erased when our device is more important than them. And we've all seen it, and we may have all done it. You've seen babies, children, toddlers looking to an adult for attention. Haven't you? So that question needs to be asked as well. So those are two. The third reason this doesn't happen is because families don't know how important they are and how important this is. Babies need words, small moments matter, chit chat is important. If that's all you get from what I'm telling you today and can share that with families, that's enough. Okay? And the other thing I want you to carry out of this room is we're not going to talk about poor families and rich families. We're going to say some families. Does that make sense? Okay, no argument there? And we're not going to say word of the day or word list. That's got another place, but it's not this. This is relationship and conversation. So, let me get my big hat out of the way. This is, Molly, you have this, right?
Yeah.
So this is the heart video. Don't feel like you have to take notes because we've given you
This looks like this.
this. And not only does it tell you what heart stands for, we've got a QR code here, so if you want to look at it again on your phone, you can.
Mom and Dad, I know I didn't come with an instruction manual, and sometimes you might wonder why. I mean, I definitely have more moving parts than my crib. But figuring me out isn't that complicated. You don't even need instructions because everything I need is pretty simple. And you already have it. To make sure I grow up smart, strong, and ready to be all I can be, all you need is HEART. H-E-A-R-T. Hug, engage, ask, read, and talk. See, I was pretty small when you first got me, but my brain was already going a million miles a minute, firing off 700 synapses every second. By the time I'm 3, 1 trillion connections will be formed. That's a lot of zeros. My brain will develop faster in my first 3 years than at any time in my life, so we gotta make the most of it right now. Because without positive interactions with you, those synapses can't fully bloom. You are the #1 factor in my brain development. And that's where the whole heart thing comes in. That's an acronym, a fancy word for shortcut. The H is for hug. It might seem silly, but my brain gets stronger every time you hug me. Really, a chemical is released that speeds up my brain development. Your hugs and kisses boost my confidence too. E is for engage. Don't just plop me in front of the TV. Play with me. Screen time can actually slow down my brain, and yours too. So let's go for walks, play at the park, build blocks, and just be silly. All that fun stuff helps me most. A is for ask. Ask me questions. Even if I can't talk yet, it gets my wheels turning. Lets me take an active role in my own learning and helps me figure out how things work. R is for read. Read to me every day. Even when I'm just a few months old, let me look at the pictures with you and learn that books are fun. It stimulates my imagination, helps me learn new words, and gets me ready to read when I get bigger. T is for talk. I won't be able to talk for a while, but the more you talk to me, the sooner I'll learn. Talk to me when you make dinner. Talk to me when you change my diaper. Talk to me when we're playing and driving in the car. The more words I hear by the time I'm 3, the better reader I'll be with higher grades and IQ. And kids who start out ahead, stay ahead. For life. So Mom and Dad, you don't need all those fancy gadgets. You have everything you need. And all I need is your heart. H-E-A-R-T.
So that's just one of the videos we found. Kelly has all of them, and she will share all of them with you. Okay? Let's talk about, we already talked about small moments are big. And Talking is Teaching says make small moments big. I changed that. I just think small moments are big. You don't need to do anything, just small moments are big, right? And let's talk about reading. So talk, read, and sing. All right, I'm gonna back up and talk about singing first, because reading will take me long. Singing. Singing touches our emotions like nothing else. And you can't be sad when you sing, and if you are sad when you sing, you're not alone. How many of you have made up songs for your babies about changing them, about feeding them? How many of you remember songs from your childhood that your parents made up for you? Songs in the car? Songs touch our emotions like nothing else. I recently lost my dad, Alzheimer's. And when we were kids, I have 8 brothers and sisters, he would come in the door either whistling or singing, "Dad's home." And he would often sing "Maresy Dotes and Dozy Dotes and Little Lansy Divey," which to us we just thought was a fun song. Dad's home. When I was an adult, he told me what it meant. Do any of you know what it means? Mares eat oats, and does eat oats, and little lambs eat ivy. Oh, so put my dad in Alzheimer's care 2 years ago, and we sang that song again. Right? Music touches our hearts, and music, songs that you make up about your children, with your children, means something, and it's a different different words. We know how important rhyming is to reading. You get your rhyming in there. So music is important. If you meet with families, I know Kim and I we're going to meet later, but you can do a whole thing about music and heritage and holidays and whatever about what music means. So let's talk about reading. There's lots of reasons reading books to babies is important. If you open your folder, they have a bookmark, right? Mm-hmm. There's a little bookmark, and we created our baby bookmark because here's what happens with new moms and dads who are already nervous about this new baby. My stepdaughter had baby Henry, and she goes, "I'm raising Henry on Google. I look up everything." And we tell new moms and dads, read to your baby 20 minutes a day. That's too much. We need to tell new moms and dads, share a book with your baby. Share a book. Because how many of you read books to babies? Unless you know what the game is, you're frustrated, right? They chew it, they bite it, they flip through the pages, they get off your lap, they run around, they hit you with the book, right? Share a book. Because that's what it is. And 1 minute, 2 minutes at a time, or you're reading aloud as they're running around. This bookmark I designed to help everyone with new babies go, ah. We took the 5 or 6 main reasons that parents had problems with, but we all lie to each other. Oh, my baby loves it when I read. Mine too. And we go back home and we go like, what's wrong with me? This helps them know what reading aloud to a baby means. So I'm going to pick on it. If I can pick on these people right here, have you read the first one on the back? This first little one? Make sure we make parents know about reading.
There is no wrong way to share books with children. They love you, your voice, and being close to you.
Babies enjoy sturdy board, cloth, or plastic books.
Wait 1 minute. So if you have the book that Grandma gave you that you want to share with your child, wait till they're 8.
You don't need to read every word or even every page. Babies and toddlers love to turn pages.
Normal, right?
You can tell your own story by talking about the pictures in the book instead of reading all of the words.
Yeah.
Babies and toddlers love to hear the same book over and over again.
That was a lot.
Okay. Oh, I want more. All right, so I think this is good. Kelly has the PDF of this. Take our logos off, put your logos on. It's yours if you want it. The other thing about reading aloud to children early is that melody carries meaning. So when I talk to you, my melody is that of talking. When I read to you, you try reading a book out loud to a child without doing that. Melody carries meaning. So if I have a child come to my Head Start or my kindergarten and they're in a group of 20 or 25 and I start reading, they're not clicking in. They're not clicking in because they have not heard this before. So that's one of the reasons. There's tons of reasons, but one of the other main reasons is I don't care how much you chit-chat and converse with your children, there are words you're never going to say, in ways you're never going to say them. We speak in English here, we read in English, but there's really 2 different languages. Classic, 5 little puppies dug a hole under the fence and went for a walk in the wide, wide world. Through the meadow they went, down the road, over the bridge, across the green grass, and up the hill, one right after the other. Do you talk like that? I do not. I say the puppies got out. Another classic which really just shows you the beautiful words that are in children's books. The third little pig was a sober little pig. He was building a house too, but he was building his of bricks. He did not mind hard work. He wanted a stout little, strong little house. I would never talk like that either. So, children need books. Okay? Alright, so that's just a thumbnail sketch of a trusted messenger training. And I hope even from that thumbnail you've gotten one or two clues, cues that will help you with